Okay, we're in session and calls number 327-596, the state of Texas versus Patrick Daniel Gallagher. Mr. Gallagher is appearing via Zoom. His attorney is Mr. Dustin Galmore, who is appearing in court. Mr. Galmore, how are you doing?
Great, Judge. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. And Mr. Gallagher, how are you doing?
Great, Your Honor. Thank you.
And and the state is represented by Attorney Lamar Johnson. Attorney Johnson, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Johnson, what is the state's announcement on this case? This case is on the court's trial docket.
Your Honor, the state has not been able to secure the attendance of the arresting officer in this case, Your Honor. And I believe we'll be moving for a short continuance.
Okay, Mr. Galmore, you have any objections to state's request for continuance?
If it's the first continuance, then no, Judge, I do not. And I'll get with state to see if there's any chance to resolve it. Otherwise, it is still trial.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't see where it was there was a continuous granted.
If it's the first continuance, Judge.
There was one? By the state? Was it the state continues? May 4th of this year? Okay. Oh, there was one granted. Mr. Johnson?
Your Honor,
We can give it a
as I
number.
stated, Your Honor, the state just need requesting continuance to secure the attendance of the witness, but if defense counsel wants to go forward, Your Honor, the state will.
Okay, we'll keep it on we're gonna give it a number.
Okay.
And now I don't know how some of these other cases are come out, but this case is on the back page. You never know, it may move up. I don't know. So at this time, just you'll be scheduled to be here tomorrow at 1:30. We'll call your office if that changes.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so you and your client, yeah, so you can get with your client, Mr. Gallagher.
Yes, sir.
Stay in contact with your attorney.
Yes, sir.
To be here in person tomorrow at 1:30, unless unless the court tells your attorney otherwise, and then your attorney inform you. But you should be
Yes,
here
sir.
tomorrow at 1:30 in court. All right, we'll
Yes.
see you tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Have a great day.
All right, same to you. Defense motion?
Then, like I said, Judge,
Oh.
I'm not opposed if it's their first continuance. I would almost never oppose.
Mr. Johnson? Apparently. Okay, yeah. Okay, so the state didn't file the motion. It was a defense motion back in May.
Okay.
And so what we'll do, we'll grant your continuance.
Thank you.
Okay? You can contact Mr. Gallagher and let him know. Okay, so this is gonna be defense state's continuance. Okay, let's see, Galmore. Is Westbury here, Lawrence Westbury?
No, Judge, Mr. Westbury is actually in the Veterans Court Program.
I see he has, apparently he's in 252nd.
That's
today,
correct.
Right,
And so they were dismissing today because he's in the Veterans Court Program. So I need to get with Ashley and Mr. Shearer and see if we can go ahead and get this one taken care of today too. I'm gonna see what we can do about that.
Okay, is he
but
here?
He's not here because typically he's not been here because he's in the Veterans Court program. And so it's always been reset before, but since they were going to dismiss today, they left it on the docket in felony court. So that's what I'm saying. Let me get with the DA's office to see if they're just going to go ahead and dismiss this today, and then it shouldn't matter.
Okay. Okay.
We would miss a bird soon.
Yes.
He should be on the second page of the paragraph.
Next case is called number 329032, case of style of state of Texas versus Dwayne Burleson. Mr. Burleson is appearing via Zoom. Mr. Burleson, you could take your mic off of mute.
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is CC2C. Mr. Burleson, you're represented here by your attorney, Attorney Dustin Galmore, and the state is represented in this case by Attorney Raymond Shearer. Attorney Shearer, how are you doing?
Doing good.
Now, Mr. Shearer, what is your announcement in Mr. Burleson's case?
State is ready, Your Honor.
And defense?
Judge, I think we're ready. I was looking at the Gallagher case earlier, so I need to go back and look at this one a little closer. But as of right now, it's trial.
Okay, all right. Now, Mr. Burleson, stay in contact with your attorney. You're scheduled to be here in person tomorrow at 1:30 in court for trial, unless we tell your attorney otherwise, and then your attorney will tell you. But you need to be here tomorrow at 1:30 for trial.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Are you
Yes,
free
sir.
to go, and you have a blessed day?
Okay.
Mr. Galmore, is that your last case?
I believe, well, no, actually, I was going to announce him at your door, but he's here.
Okay,
That should be my okay.
okay, Mr.
Your Honor, may we approach on the bad case, I'm going the announcement doc. Mr. Shearer is here now.
Okay, hold. Reports in session in two cases, calls number 332860 and calls number 332862. Both cases are styled of state of Texas versus Felipe Jesus Amaya Jr. Mr. Maya, is that your full name? How are you doing, Mr. Maya? I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Maya, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Willard Hall. Attorney Hall, how are you doing?
Doing great, Your Honor.
And Mr. Okay, the state is represented by Attorney Raymond Shearer. Attorney Shearer, what's the announcement in this case?
The state was aware that, had been made aware that the blood warrant in this case was signed by Brittany Holmes.
Okay,
And we did not know if the court wanted to continue with it or if you wanted to transfer it.
okay, what we'll do, we have to, I guess, talk to the Judge Woods and see if he's willing to step the transfer, okay? Just, we can draft one up. I don't know if he'll, so we'll see. Give me,
Your Honor, you asked a while ago whether he has bail conditions, and he does, and he has, I talked to him, he didn't understand your question, but he has an interlocal license.
okay. Okay, okay, just, y'all just have a seat, and we'll send the transfer over. Shouldn't take a few minutes. Is Jesus Gill or Jesus Tornero present?
Sergeant, is it Mr. Gill?
Well, he has two names. It's also known as, is Jesus Gill and Jesus.
Is Mr.
Tornero.
Gill present?
Could you, see Jesus Gill on bottom of page 5 of the announcement docket? Court is in session. Cause number 332-614. Case is on our announcement docket. The case is styled the state of Texas versus Jesus Gill. Mr. Gill, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Mr. Gill?
I'm doing good.
That's good, Mr. Gill. You're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Jared Gilthorpe. Attorney Gilthorpe, how are you doing?
Doing well, Judge, thank you.
Mr. Gilthorpe, what is your announcement in Mr. Gill's case?
We need this one placed on the trial docket.
Okay. Give us a date. That's on page 5 at the bottom. Second from the bottom. Okay, this case will be set for trial January the 9th of 2023. Mr. Gill, your attorney is going to sign for your reset. Once you get your reset from your attorney, you'll be free to go. You can stand on the 4X. Mr. Bale, if you can get Mr. Gilthorpe's other two clients, they're on the trial docket. Thank you. Is Donald Darden and Anthony Whitmire on page 1, both at the middle of the page. Here. Thank you. You can get that to, you gonna bring that next door or something? Okay, this is on our trial docket. Next case is cause number 324-857. The case is styled as state of Texas versus Donald Ray Darden II. And it's on our trial docket. The person that's on Zoom that has Samsung, would you please put your mic on mute? Thank you. Donald Ray Darden II. It's on our trial docket. PC2B. Okay. This is cause number 324-857, case of style of state of Texas versus case of style of the state of Texas versus Donald Ray Darden II. Mr. Darden, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Mr. Darden?
Doing about yourself.
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Darden, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Gerald Gilthorpe. Attorney Gilthorpe, what is your announcement? This case is on our trial docket.
Judge, we're ready on that case.
Okay.
The only issue I have is a scheduling conflict tomorrow. I'm with the feds in Houston, but outside of that, we're ready.
Okay, state.
Thanks for ready, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Now we are gonna give you a number. Yeah. Let me see. I know you're gonna be near the top. I know you look like you're gonna be within the first three. I mean, it's not number one right now, but.
Okay.
Okay. He needs to be back here tomorrow at 1:30.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Okay, and Mr. Gilthorpe, you have another one, Anthony Whitmire.
Yes, sir.
Anthony Whitmire, please come forward. This is cause number 325096. Case of style of state of Texas versus Anthony Whitmire or Anthony G. Whitmire. Ms. Whitmire, is that your full name? Okay, now, Mr. Whitmire, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Jerry Gilthorpe. And Mr. Gilthorpe, what is your announcement in Mr. Whitmire's case is on the trial docket?
It's the same good. We're ready, other than a scheduling conflict I have in the morning. I should be back.
Okay, okay, so, and state,
Your Honor. Sorry, my computer is not functioning. The state, we need to request a short continuance on this, on judge to secure the attendance of the arresting officer.
Mr. Gilthorpe? You have any objection? Do we need, go down. I was gonna check, see if there's any continuances that was granted by the state in this case. No, none of them, okay. Now, Mr.
No objection,
Okay, so this case, state continuance is granted. No objections from the defense. That trial date is gonna be the same, that other one that was it
Judge.
January?
January 9th, I believe, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Gilthorpe, you can get your reset, and once you get your reset from your attorney, Mr. Whitmire, you're free to go and you have a blessed day. Mr. Paul,
Yes, Your Honor.
I just been informed that Judge Woods signed that transfer. So the case has been transferred over to Judge Woods.
Thank you.
Okay, you free to go. We have any, please, ready?
I got two.
William, oh, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Let's, we need Franklin Goki. Cause number 330184. On the pretrial conference document. This is cause number 330184. Case is style of the state of Texas versus Franklin Derek Goki. Mr. Goki, is that your full name?
Yes,
How you doing, Mr. Goki?
I'm okay, sir. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Goki, you're here represented by your attorney, James Macon, attorney Macon. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, Your Honor. Thank you.
And the state is represented by attorney Lamar Johnson. Mr. Macon, what is your announcement in Mr. Goki's case?
Your Honor, I was just made aware of some information concerning the Veterans Court and treatment, and it would drastically affect the plea bargain. And I asked for 30 days to get that information to the DA's office and work something out. I
Okay.
still anticipate a plea at the end of it.
Give us a reset date. Okay, this case is reset to October 24th of 2022. Mr. Goki, you're gonna get your reset from your attorney. Once you get your reset from your attorney, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. Please stand on the floor X.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You are. Is William Fortier present? He's on the bottom.
He's what?
No, I was looking at him. Philip Dowd's on the bottom. Okay, this is cause number 321179. The case is style of state of Texas versus William Ray Fortier Jr.
Yes, sir.
Is that your full name, Mr. Fortier?
Yes, sir.
How are you doing, Mr. Fortier?
Doing good.
That's good, Mr. Fortier. You're represented here by your attorney, Ryan Gertz. Attorney Gertz, how are you doing?
Great, Judge.
And Mr. Gertz, this case is on the court's trial docket. What is your announcement?
Judge, I think we may be able to resolve it, if I had some time to talk to Mr. Johnson this morning.
Okay, I'll just put it on hold.
Yeah.
Okay, give y'all time to talk. All right,
I'm set in another court anyway, though, so I don't think I'd be able to go to trial, but I think we might be able to get something.
well, I mean, you say you set. I mean, are you in trial?
No, I mean,
Well, if you're in trial, that's one thing. Being set is
I
another.
know, I know.
Well, yeah.
How about I'm second set? Is what I
Okay,
am.
you'd be number one in this one.
All right, thanks.
Yeah.
Judge.
Cause you know, number one, yeah. Okay. Okay, let's see. Next we have, yeah, okay. Let me do this here. Gilthorpe, yes. No, they're gonna hold. He's coming back. Chris Flores. Mr. Bailey, could you please get Chris Flores? Okay, your name is Chris Eduardo Flores?
Yes, sir.
How are you doing?
I'm great.
That's good. Now, okay. So you representing in this case by Attorney James Padgett. Attorney Padgett, how are you doing?
Doing well, good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Now, this case is on the court's trial docket. Mr. Padgett, what is your announcement?
Your Honor, we're ready, but Mr. Johnson asked if we could recall the case and I could speak
You
on
gonna
it.
put it on hold?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
That would help.
All right, I'll put it on hold. Did we do Gallagher?
For Mr. Rogers, we have a plea deal worked out. However, the city needs time to refile.
No, actually, Judge, I'm here on the Taylor Rogers case. It's been refiled and I was, they gave it to me this, Intake gave it to me this morning. I was thinking it was County Court 3 case. So I was holding on to it over in County Court 3. So I have this here now and I don't know what was negotiated, Judge.
I believe it's a 12-month probation on obstruction of the highway.
It is an obstruction of the highway. Looks like we've got a 12-month, $1,000 fine, court cost, 60-hour CSR, EPS restitution. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna hand this off to one of these prosecutors and you can.
So I just need to do the paperwork or something?
Yes, Your Honor.
Looks that way, Judge.
Oh, okay, okay. Okay, our next case is cause number 324-699. The case is styled the state of Texas versus Curtis Marvin Lewis. Mr. Lewis, is your full name Curtis Marvin Lewis? Mr. Lewis, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Lewis, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God? Mr. Lewis, you may put your hand down. Mr. Lewis, you're here represented by your attorney, Langston Adams. Attorney Adams, how are you doing?
Doing well.
Mr. Adams, do you waive a record in Mr. Lewis's case?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Lewis, I have before me a document that is titled information. This information was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office, and this information alleges that on or about October 5th of 2019, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of resisting arrest, search, transportation. Mr. Lewis, do you understand what you've been charged with? And to this charge, Mr. Lewis, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? Now, you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily? And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges? Okay, now, Mr. Lewis, I have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment, also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. Do you recognize this document? Okay, you're gonna have to speak up. Okay, and on page 2 of this document, there's a set of initials, CL, that's on the line next to a box that's checked no contingent, which means no contest. Did you place your initials on this document? On page 3 of this same document, Mr. Lewis, there's a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Is that your signature? And on the next document, which is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, do you recognize this document? And is this your signature above the line that is titled defendant? There are 2 boxes that are checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that? The second box states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that? Now, Mr. Lewis, I also have before me a document that is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant? Okay, now, Mr. Lewis, before you signed and initialed these documents, did your attorney, Mr. Adams, go over these documents with you? And did you read and understand everything that he went over? And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge? Mr. Lewis, are you a citizen of the United States? State, I have before me State's Exhibit Number 1, the misdemeanor plea admonishment, and State's Exhibit Number 2, the probable cause affidavit that is in, which is in the court's file. Would you like to offer States 1 and 2?
Yes, Your Honor, State offer States 1 and 2.
Any objection?
No objection.
No objection. States Exhibits 1 and 2 are admitted. Mr. Adams, you advised and counsel Mr. Lewis, is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
None.
Mr. Lewis, your attorney, Mr. Adams, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation? Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation? Okay, Mr. Lewis, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt state. Do we have a plea bargaining agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
Your Honor, in exchange for defendant's plea of no contest in this case, the state is recommending confinement in the Jefferson County Jail for a period of 4 days. Your Honor, the state is asking that the court give defendant credit for the 4 days previously spent in jail, making this time served plea offer, Your Honor. And we're also asking that the court use the time served to both tax and retire court costs.
Okay, Mr. Lewis, the state is offering that you serve 4 days in Jefferson County Jail. You already served enough time in the Jefferson County Jail. Therefore, you'll be given credit for time served. And in this case, it states that you've already served 4 days in Jefferson County Jail, so you'll be given credit for 4 days that you've already served. The court cost in this case is $412, but you will not have to pay the $412 because the time that you spent in jail has already paid it off. Therefore, the court cost will be taxed and retired. Mr. Lewis, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer? Mr. Lewis, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Lewis, you're gonna stand on the X next to your attorney and you're gonna follow the directions of our clerk. Once you finish following her directions, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day.
Pass the law, diligence, and save and leave.
Okay. Next case is Style of State of Texas versus Davin Lee Castelaw, clause number 330856. Mr. Castelaw, would you please come forward? Mr. Castelaw, is your full name Davin Lee Castelaw? How you doing, Mr. Castelaw? That's good. Mr. Castelaw, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Castelaw, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? You may put your hand down. Mr. Castelaw, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Langston Adams. Attorney Adams, do you waive a record in Mr. Castelaw's case?
Yes.
Mr. Castelaw, I have before me a document that is titled Information. This information alleges that on or about July 19th of 2020, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of possession of a controlled substance. Mr. Castelaw, do you understand what you have been charged with? And to this charge, Mr. Castelaw, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
Now, are you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily? And are you pleading no contest because you do not fight or contest the charges?
Do not want to fight it.
Okay, now, Mr. Castelaw, I have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. Do you recognize this document? On page 2 of the same document, there's some initials DC that are on a line next to a box that's checked nolo contingere, which means no contest. Did you place your initials on this document? On page 3 of the same document, there's a signature. Hold on a minute. Okay, everybody that's on Zoom, please put your mics on mute. Yeah, yeah. Mr. Castelaw, I was showing you State's Exhibit number 1, the misdemeanor plea admonishment. You acknowledged that that was your initials on page 2 of this document. On page 3 of the same document, there's a signature above the line that is titled Defendant. Is this your signature?
Yes, sir.
On the next document that's titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature? Hold on a minute.